Hey everybody, today we're going to talk a little bit about rotations. So to start we need our 3 rotation rules, okay? So I'm going to write these up here. I think I have enough room. Let's zoom in a little bit. So the first one is going to be 90 degrees clockwise, which is also equivalent to 270 degrees counterclockwise. I may have to, let's see how much I can fit here. Okay, and that's going to be xy becomes y opposite x. So this doesn't mean negative x, this means opposites. When you have the term, you change its sign. It doesn't mean it definitely becomes negative, okay? It's something people always make mistakes with. Okay, so now 90 degrees counterclockwise which is also equivalent to 270 degrees clockwise. Okay, that's going to be xy becomes opposite y x. Okay, so basically you swap the position and you change one of the signs with these 2 examples. And then there's 180 degrees. Direction doesn't matter because 180 degrees in either direction will end up in the same spot. And that's going to be xy becomes opposite x, opposite y. That's the one I remember no problem. I always forget these others and I always have to write these down. I've been doing this for a long time, so don't feel bad if you need to use a reference guide for this. It's very easy to forget these. Alright, so let's go through these. So rotation 180 degrees is about the origin. So we're going to write the rule. Each time we do this, we're going to write the rule above it so we can just use that as a point of reference. So xy becomes opposite x, opposite y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify the coordinates of all 3 of these points, and we're going to use that to apply our transformation, right? So A is going to be, let's see, 1, negative 4. B is going to be 0, negative 2. And C is going to be 4, negative 2. By the way, if I'm making any mistakes, just let me know in the comments section, and I will edit it to fix it, or at least add a note. So we're going to make A prime, B prime, and C prime. So again, we're just to change the signs. They don't change the location, we just change their signs. So 1, negative 4 will become negative 1, positive 4. B prime will be, well, 0 stays as 0, but negative 2 becomes positive 2. And C prime, so 4 becomes negative 4. And negative 2 becomes positive 2. So those are our 3 points after we apply the rotation. So let's go ahead and graph those. So negative 1, 4 is right there. That's A prime. Another hint too is I would label the point right after you graph it, because once you graph them, it's easier to mislabel them afterwards. So 0, 2 is going to be B prime. And then negative 4, 2 is going to be C prime. Let's go ahead and connect those. Alright, so is it rotated 180 degrees? It sure looks like it. I can test this by actually rotating the paper, and this should end up where that is if it's 180 degrees. Yep, because 180 degrees is a half turn, a full turn is a 360. 180 degrees would be half turn. It looks like it worked. Sweet. Cool. Let's try this out. So same rule, 180 degrees, so we're going to write xy becomes x prime, my bad. Opposite x, opposite y. Okay, so let's label the points. We have H, I, and G. So H is 1, 5. I is 3, 2. And G is 2, 2. So for 180 degrees, we just change the signs of all these. So H prime, I prime, and G prime. So H prime becomes negative 1, negative 5. 3, 2 becomes negative 3, negative 2. And G prime becomes negative 2, negative 2. So let's go ahead and plot these. So negative 1, negative 5. I prime becomes negative 3, negative 2. And G prime is negative 2, negative 2. So let's do that. There we go. Cool. Let's try number 3. So 90 degrees clockwise. So I'm going to check my reference guide. So 90 degrees clockwise is going to be xy becomes y opposite x. So we're going to use that. Okay, so GHI. So G is -4, +4. H is 0, 5. And I is 0, 3. Okay, so we're going to apply our transformation. So we're going to switch them and then change this term sign. So G prime, H prime, and I prime. So they swap. So this becomes the new x. So 4 is the new x value. And then this changes over here, and that becomes +4. So basically this -4 went here, this +4 went there when we change this -4 sign, because it's opposite x. So again, that's where people get confused. They think, oh, it has to be negative, but no, in this case it becomes positive. So these swap, so it's going to be 5, 0, and we can't change 0's sign, so same with 3, 0. Now, by the way, this is considered a rigid transformation. That's because it preserves congruency. This is the pre-image, right? We're graphing the image, and the image should be congruent to the pre-image. If it's not, that means we made a mistake, either in the initial graphing or when we applied the transformation. 3, 0 is right there. Okay. And that's I prime. There we go. And that's rotated 90 degrees clockwise, so I rotate it quarter turn. That works. Cool. Okay, 90 degrees counterclockwise. So let me go ahead and write the rule here. So 90 degrees counterclockwise is going to be xy becomes opposite y x. So wxy. So -1, -4, 0, 0, and 4, -2. So it is possible to make a mistake here when you're writing down the coordinates. If you misinterpret it or you put numbers in the wrong spot, that's another mistake people can make if they go too quickly. Okay, so we're going to write W prime. Did I do that? No, I'm paranoid that I did that. No, I think we're good. W prime, X prime, and Y prime. Okay, so we're going to swap them, and we're going to change the sign. So -4 is going to become +4, become the new x value, and then -1 becomes our new y value. It stays negative. Okay. 0, 0 doesn't change. And then -2 will become +2, and 4 stays positive. Okay. So x1 is x prime rather is there. 4, -1 is right there. That's W prime. And then 2, 4 is y prime. Connect those. So if I rotate that, yeah, that works. Sweet. Okay, so now we have to write a rule. So we're going from here to here, and that you can test this out. Like, let's say I want to go with Q, and this is what you should do, but there's a quicker and easier way to do it. And sometimes it's good to know how to do this without having the graph in front of you, because if you're given the coordinates, you would need to understand which transformation took place. So we're trying to figure out what happened to go from Q to Q prime. We'll use that as our example. So Q is 1, 1, right? And Q prime is -1, -1. So we simply look at our three rules, right? And we say, okay, well, what happened here? Which of these three rules occurred? Well, we just changed both their signs, which means it's 180 degrees. And you can tell, actually, it's on the opposite side of the grid. So we'd say 180 degree rotation. And you don't need to say the direction because it doesn't matter. You can if you want, but it doesn't really matter. All right, so now go from here to here. So from H, hold on a second. There you go. So to go from H to H prime, well, it's definitely not 180 degrees. It's not on the other side, so it's 90 degrees. And we're going, this is clockwise. So I can tell you right now it's 90 degrees clockwise, but we can show it algebraically as well. So let's write the coordinates of H. So H is going to be -2, -2. And H prime is -2, +2. So which one of these involved changing the sign right here? of the second y value, and that's, sure enough, it's 90 degrees clockwise, which we knew it was. You could also think it was 270 degrees counterclockwise, but I always go the shortest distance. It's just how I do it. 90 degrees clockwise. Hey, Warley. Okay. All right. Same thing here. We're going to identify what happened. Well, this is clear 180 degrees, and we're not going to do it algebraically since I already showed you how to do it. So 180 degrees. And then here, this is definitely 90 degrees. So to go from S to S prime, we're going 90 degrees counterclockwise. Let's do it algebraically anyway for this one. So S is -3, -2. And then S prime is 2, 3. So we changed the sign of the x and we flipped it. So we change the sign of the x, we go here. That's going to be 90 degrees counterclockwise, which is exactly what we said it would be. So 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay. This one's asking for our coordinates, but we were doing it before anyway because it's just good practice. So let's go ahead. W, U, V. We're going to write the coordinates. So W is 0, -2. U is -4, -3, and V is -5, +1. So 180 degrees is the one where we take x, y, and it becomes opposite x, opposite y. So x, y becomes opposite x, opposite y. So W prime, U prime, and V prime. So we simply just change their signs. So 0, +2, 4, 3, and 5, -1. Let's graph those. So 0, 2 is here. That's W prime. 4, 3 is here. It's U prime. 5, -1 is V prime. Yep, and that sure looks like 180 degrees. Cool. All right. Oh, this little baby triangle here. So 90 degrees counterclockwise. So 90 degrees counterclockwise is going to be x, y, and that becomes opposite y, x. Okay. So K, L, M. So K is going to be -4, -4. L is going to be -3, -4. And M is going to be -3, -5. Okay. So K prime, we're going to apply this, so we're going to swap it and change that sign. So this is going to become opposite, so this becomes 4, and it stays as -4. This is going to become positive again, so 4, -3, and this becomes +5, and that stays -3. Okay, so let's graph those. So 4, -4 is down here. That's K prime. And then 4, -3, that's L prime. And 5, -3, oops, I put the K in the wrong spot, and that's M prime. And if we rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, yep, that's exactly what it would end up like. So a little bit of a snafu having a K there, but that's not the end of the world. Okay. Number 11, 90 degrees counterclockwise. So 90 degrees counterclockwise is the rule we just used. So it's x, y becomes opposite y, x. So let's write the coordinates. We got h, I, and j. So h is 3, 2. I is 5, 5. And j is 5, 0. Okay. So h prime, I prime, and j prime. So we're going to swap it and change the sign. So -2, 3. I prime is going to be -5, 5. And j prime is going to be 0, 5. Because 0 you can't change the sign of. Okay, let's plot those. So -2, 3. That's h prime. Negative 5, 5. And that is I prime. And 0, 5 is j prime. There's the bell. So 90 degrees counterclockwise. Yeah, good. All right, last one. Here we go. Rotation 90 degrees clockwise. So the rule for that is going to be xy becomes y opposite x. Okay. So we have xyz. So x is going to be negative 3, positive 3. Y is going to be negative 4, positive 4. And z is going to be negative 5, positive 2. Okay. So we have x prime, y prime, and z prime. So x prime, let's see, this is going to become 3, 3. This will become 4, 4. And this will become 2, 5. Okay. So 3, 3 would be, let's see, right there. That's x prime. 4, 4 would be there. That's y prime. And 2, 5 would be right there. That's z prime. So 90 degrees clockwise. There, let's see. Yeah, I think it does. My brain's playing tricks on me. Pretty sure it works. All right, cool. Well, hopefully that was helpful, guys. I know it takes some time. This isn't something you can just speed through. I mean, you can, but it'll invariably make a lot of mistakes if you do. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.